Good Friday morning. It is September 11th. It is 11 a.m. on East Coast here. Sorry for the delay on this week's content. It's been busy. Obviously, we were off of school on Monday for the holiday, and it's just been busy with papers and other assignments. Um, I will be trying to get back on somewhat of a schedule, at least doing 2 videos a week, with the Monday recapping the weekend and everything with that. Uh, and then doing Friday videos as well. So with that, I'm also going to try and just keep it with that. And I'm not going to promise that it's going to be that way right now, because I do have papers due every Tuesday in one class, and we're doing a project, and um, I'm just at a higher level with some of my classes that I have papers due every week in the one, and I'm also doing two projects in the other. Um, so, but there will be, at least one show a week I will try to. So, yeah, without further ado, we're going to get the show started. We're going to start off with NFL news from this past week, um, from Saturday through. I think there might be some stuff that came out. Nope, it's just through Wednesday. Obviously, there was the first NFL game last night, and the Chiefs won 34 to 10, or not 10, 20. They won by 14. And speaking of the Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson signed a new 4-year contract extension worth $160 million on Saturday, the 5th, making him the second highest quarterback being paid. Um, Also on Saturday, the New England Patriots released their fifth-round pick from this past year, their kicker Justin Ruwalser. Um, so it's interesting that they're releasing a kicker. I don't know if they still have Steven Groskowski or not, or if they have any other kickers on their roster. I know Adam Vinatieri was not re-signed by the um, Colts, so it'll be interesting to see if they don't have a kicker right now, if they go out and sign Adam Vinatieri to their team, or if Adam Vinatieri does get picked up in the long run. The Bills also re-signed. Um, well, they didn't re-sign. They signed a contract extension with um, corner Tre'Davious White for a 4-year extension worth $70 million, including $55 million guaranteed, making the total deal of $82.1 million. So, and then also the NFL is to test COVID or test players and staff for COVID-19 daily during the season, but won't test on game days. I believe that is interesting that they're not going to test on the day of games, but they will be testing every day besides them. That means the Chiefs and Texans both didn't get tested yesterday, seeing that yesterday was game day. But they obviously will be getting tested today, and they got tested Wednesday. Um, maybe they'll see if anyone contracted COVID from the game last night, or had COVID going into the game. Obviously, we'll see. There's I think there's only been one player so far that had COVID-19, but we're gonna have to see what happens. Also, this past Sunday, 7-time Pro Bowler Adrian Peterson, who was released by Washington football team, has now signed with the Detroit Lions. I believe that is a great thing for him. It's going to be something that will be a good place for him. The Lions are also, looking to be, one of those teams that could possibly try and look for one of the wild card spots. Now there are 3 in both Now that they've extended the playoffs an extra team, you never know. The Lions could sneak in and get that third extra wild card spot, possibly make a run now. They have some more veteran players. The Buccaneers also signed quarterback Josh Rosen to their practice squad. He was the 2018 first round pick after he was released by the Miami Dolphins on Friday. It's very interesting. After not that long of a time, he's like been the worst out of all the quarterbacks drafted in the first round that year. I remember seeing on Facebook when I was looking at CBS or the NFL on CBS's story. It had all the quarterbacks that had been drafted, and it had Baker and his stats, in every quarterback. Excuse me. And obviously, it had Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl champ, MVP, Super Bowl MVP. Lamar Jackson at the very bottom, who got drafted last in that first round, won the MVP, and it had Josh Rosen on the Buccaneers practice squad after he had been drafted by the he had been drafted, and then he got obviously he's been relegated now off. He got released after the Dolphins signed drafted Tua this year, not signed him. They also have excuse me. They also have Ryan Fitzpatrick still. I mean, I think Fitzpatrick will start, and then eventually Tua will come in if they want him to play at all this year. I don't see Tua starting off the season as the starter. I don't think it's been announced at all yet. If it has, correct me in the comments. Also, the Patriots announced their practice squad, which included a fullback named Paul Quinsbury. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Who is an ex-Marine. He is among the players that were announced as signees. Also, DeAndre Hopkins and the Cardinals agreed to a 2-year contract extension worth $54 million and a half dollars. The contract includes $42.5 million guaranteed. So obviously that's good for both sides. He's going to obviously be there for more time. That gives him and Kyler Murray some time, and I'm not sure how much longer Larry Fitzgerald's going to be there, but hopefully, both of those two will be there for a long time, get that air raid offense going, and maybe, they'll be there and they'll be back to everything and, maybe back in the playoffs eventually. Also, it was announced as one of the updates for the upcoming live roster updates for Madden 21 that former 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick will be returning to the video game for the first time since Madden 16. He will have an overall rating of 81 as a free agent. The reason why his overall is 81 and not like in the 70s or maybe a 68 or 9 is that they took his overall that he had in Madden 16 and then regressed it, and then they also evaluated him from what he did his workouts the past couple of months when teams were possibly going to sign him for this upcoming season and stuff like that. And here we go back to the results from the COVID-19 results back on Tuesday. It was one player that had tested positive out of the league, testing 2,641 players and 5,708 other personnel between the 30th and September 5th. So, and then the Rams, Jalen Ramsey, had also agreed on Wednesday morning to a 5-year, $105 million extension, the largest contract extension in league history for a cornerback. So a lot of guys are getting paid right now, but now we're going to another cornerback made some news. The Denver Broncos Akeem Talib, 34, announced his retirement. Says he turned down offers from the Patriots because he felt he wasn't feeling it. Obviously, he finished his career as a Bronco, but he could have went back to New England. It looks like, where he had played the majority of his career. So obviously, something that would have been, maybe good for him to go back to New England, but maybe this is a good time for him to just stop for now. Maybe he'll pull a Gronk and come out of retirement, like Jordan and Gronk and some of these players have done. We're gonna move on to the UFC real quick because there's not a whole bunch of news in the UFC right now. The UFC is planning to return to Fight Island for two of their pay-per-views, UFC 253 and 254, which 253 will kick off a 5-event run in Abu Dhabi, which will last through UFC 254, as I previously stated. That is the current plan. So, Ricardo Lamas, who holds a UFC record or a record of 20-8, announces he is retiring from MMA after 12 years as a pro. He had lost 3 of his final 5 fights. So obviously not going out on a hot streak, but maybe that's why he had decided to retire. Leon Edwards also says he's still 100% committed to taking bout this year, targeting return for October and November. So, and then let's see. Oh, this is some wrestling news. That the appeal courts dismissed a lawsuit filed by 50 former wrestlers who claimed that the WWE failed to protect them for repeated head injuries. That is just one of many things that has been coming out of the world of WWE recently. There's been many claims that have come out. There was a former WWE female wrestler that said that she had been weighed because she had lost a bunch of weight, and then they were wanting her to lose more weight and get down to a certain weight, and they were weighing her day in and day out, to make sure she got down to a certain weight. And that's sad, especially when they don't seem to care about how much some of their male wrestlers weigh. So we're going to move on to the world of the MLB, as there's been some interesting things happen this week in the world of MLB. First off, on Saturday night, Bryce Harper got thrown out by first baseman umpire Robert Ortiz. One second, my mom texted me. Okay, and then so the MLB will allow players of Puerto Rican descent to wear number 21 on this past Wednesday on Robert Clemente Day. Also, which is cool, so they're going to allow another player to be recognized, like they did Jackie Robinson, obviously. So that will be nice, or was nice, as it's already happened when I'm doing this, obviously. And also some sad news. Hall of Famer Lou Brock passed away at 81. He spent 15 seasons with the Cardinals and was MLB's all-time steal leader when he retired. And then also former American League president Gene Buget passed away at the age of 81 also. He served in the position for 6 seasons starting in 1994. And then Red Sox outfielder Andrew Benintendi has been sidelined since August 24th and has now been declared out for the rest of the season with a strained rib cage that happened on Tuesday. So the Red Sox, their season has just been worse, and now with Benintendi out. And then this happened on Wednesday night as the Atlanta Braves, not the Falcons, scored 29 runs against division opponent, the Miami Marlins. So we're going to move on to the NBA, WNBA now. NBA coaches and staff have been approved to bring guests into the bubble for the start of the conference finals. Even though we're in the semifinals still right now, with some of the teams playing with basically the majority, both Western Conference teams, and there is still an Eastern Conference semifinal going on. But that was announced Tuesday morning. The NBAPA bubble school opened the first day on Tuesday, which was the first day of classes for players' kids. I guess was actually held on Monday. Officials called it probably safest classroom in the country right now. So, the WNBA announced its playoff schedule. It announced that all of the games will be televised either on ABC, ESPN, or ESPN2, as well as the ESPN app. First round games will begin on September 15th. I believe that this is good that they're all going to be televised, especially on ABC in both ESPN and ESPN2. That means they'll be on a more wider. It'll get out to a wider viewing audience, and everyone will be able to see it. And the first round just starts here in 4 days on the 15th. Obviously, you have football starting up and NHL still going. So, but this is obviously late because they got swept. But Giannis was out for Game 5 after re-injuring his sprained ankle in Game 4. But that led to the Heat winning Game 5 and moving on to the conference finals, which I don't know if it'll be interesting to see Miami versus Boston, and it'll be interesting to see who wins and how many games they'll play in that series. So, and then also announced on Tuesday. Tuesday was a big news day, by the way, from the NBA. Billy Donovan won't return to the Thunder next season, as the sides have decided against pursuing an extension. So that'll be interesting. It's already been kind of put out there that he probably won't return to Florida to coach the team. It would be cool to see him maybe return to college and coach down there. I mean, he was successful in the NBA. It's just this year's team probably wasn't as good as he has had in the past, especially with only having one star player in Chris Paul. I mean, I know Steven Adams is good, and he does have some. He had some younger talent, I know, at one point, but Chris Paul will most likely be out, and you will probably see Steven Adams eventually out, and you will see Oklahoma City most likely enter a rebuilding stage 100% now. You will see Chris Paul probably go to wherever he wants to, and you will see Steven Adams just get dealt to somewhere where they can get a nice draft pick and rebuild around that person. Doris Burke will reach a new milestone as she will become the first woman to serve as a game analyst on network TV or radio broadcast of a conference or NBA finals, as she has been doing the NBA games for ESPN and everything, as the games will be on ABC and ESPN and all that. So that's very good for her. It's interesting to see how she's going to be doing that. Also, the NBA targeted a new draft date. They are moving it possibly to November 18th from October 16th, pushing it back about a month and 2 days. It's kind of annoying that they're doing that, so just wish the draft would get done, especially since you need those players to at least get into the system and know everybody that they're going to be playing with and get ready. I mean, they've already done the draft lottery. We don't know when they're going to even start next season, though. So we're moving on to the NCAA. There wasn't as much news as we thought there would be this week. Tennessee did cancel their scrimmage that they were going to have on Saturday the 5th. They canceled that scrimmage after 7 or 8 players tested positive for the virus, more than 25 players out after contact tracing. So in the Stephen F. Austin game, they took a delay of game for kneeling beforehand. It's really nice to see all the different ways that teams were taking a stand for equality during week 0, week 1, whatever you want to call it. It felt like more of a week 0, even though we had the FCS kickoff game during what would normally have been week 0. But, now we have this weekend where we'll have the ACC participating. We have our first official, power conference playing. We're going to start seeing some of the power conferences starting to play now. It's going to be interesting to see how they'll do and see how many fans they'll have in the stands and all that. Also, on Sunday, Hall of Famer, NBA basketball Hall of Famer, Tom Jureston, sorry for the mispronunciation, most likely, passed away at the age of 75, nicknamed the father of the Final Four for his contributions to the growing of the NCAA tournament. Speaking of that, we're going to jump to that real quick. The ACC men's basketball coaches have actually proposed that all the Division I teams should be in the tournament this upcoming season. That would be like over 300 teams, I believe, is what the one article said. And I think it was like 346 teams, and that's crazy to me that it would be that many teams. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it would be 346 teams would be in that playoff, or not playoff, but NBA or NCAA tournament. So it would be crazy. My suggestion would be more of like maybe you take a certain amount of teams from each conference, like maybe you take your top half of your team, like the top 6 from the MAC, top 7 from the Big Ten, and you put them in like regionals. Like you have your Mountain West and your Pac-12 and your Big Sky out west, and then you have your Big 12 and schools out there. Your certain conferences go to certain regionals and you battle, and then eventually you have the teams that come out of there, like maybe it'll be odd numbers, but eventually you have the teams that come out of there, and you seed them in an NCAA tournament. You pick like the 64 teams and they go into different regionals eventually. And that could end up making like teams like Ohio State or Michigan not being in, but you could have more teams like out of the MAC or the American. It would be something cool. But we're going to move on. The head coach of Southern Mississippi is already out after losing one game to South Alabama, which is crazy. They didn't give him another chance. This is ridiculous. I know I had South Alabama losing that game. I think a lot of people thought Southern Mississippi would win, but obviously they didn't. NCAA hockey season for both men's and women, which typically begins the first week of October, has been delayed. I did not check to see when it would be officially started, but it has been delayed, the start. It would probably most likely we would be seeing it pushed back to November, I would imagine. And then not all NCAA teams are following the protocols for COVID-19. A survey of about 1,200 athletic trainers showed that 59% of them are somewhat following the COVID-19 rules. So not every school is following what they should be doing. And then we're going to go to our miscellaneous sports, starting with last night. Serena Williams lost and will not be going to the finals of the U.S. Open tonight. Or not tonight. I don't know when the finals would be. But yeah, she will not be going to the finals of the U.S. Open. On Monday, Dustin Johnson won the FedEx Cup after capturing the Tour Championship title in Atlanta to earn a $15 million prize. That happened on Monday. Number 1 seed in the tennis for the men's side, Novak Djokovic was forced to default in fourth round of the U.S. Open after he injured line official with ball. I've seen the video. I think he didn't mean to hit her, but he did hit the ball hard, and it ended up going in her direction. He was just hitting the ball out to the person that holds the balls on the side, and gives them balls when they need it. So I don't think he meant to do it, but sadly, he did hit her, and that's why he got disqualified. And then Saturday was the Kentucky Derby. Yes, we finally got that part of the Triple Crown done. And authentic beat odds-on winner, Tiz the Law, who won the Belmont Stakes. Tiz the Law got second. Authentic won the Kentucky Derby, so there will not be a Triple Crown winner this year. There was some stuff I did not put in. So my notes, but I still have them. Patriots also did release running back Lamar Miller after signing him back in mid-August. And game day is coming to Winston-Salem this Saturday when Wake Forest plays number 1 Clemson. And Justin Timberlake has joined the group to try and bring a major league franchise to Nashville, which is very interesting. Seeing there is a minor league team, I don't understand why people try to keep bringing a pro team to Nashville when there's already a minor league team in Nashville. It's like, why don't you just put in the effort to try and buy the minor league team, build a brand new stadium, and make it into an MLB team, like a MLB sized team there from the smaller team. Like, that's what I would do personally. But so I just want to wish everyone a happy and safe weekend. Make sure you tune in to our channel, subscribe, notifications, follow us on Instagram. And I think that's it. Just have a good weekend, and we'll see you as soon as we can. And until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.